Welcome to the Oregon Department of Education's Child and Adult Care Food Program Annual Training Video Series. The Child and Adult Care Food Program is also known as the CACFP. This series of trainings is required for Oregon CACFP sponsors. This video will provide information on 2021 updates for CACFP family daycare home sponsors. In this training, we will go over some important dates, what to expect for fiscal year 2022. This is the time period between October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. We will also go over the current USDA waivers and memos that are still applicable for CACFP, ounce equivalents for grains, and additional updates and reminders from ODE Child Nutrition Programs, also known as ODE CNP. First, keep these due dates in mind for your CACFP renewals. August 20th, 2021 is the due date for updated policies and procedures, organizational budgets, organizational charts, and fiscal documents including organizational profit and loss statements and bank statements. September 3rd, 2021 is when the family daycare home budget and supporting financial documents for the budget is due. September 21st, 2021 is when all provider info sheets should be updated. September 29th, 2021 is the due date for CACFP annual training. This training and several others are required trainings for the Food Program Coordinator. The Financial Office Contact will also be required to take one training on fiscal management in CACFP. Both the Food Program Coordinator and the Financial Office Contact must complete the trainings and a quiz by September 29th, 2021. And October 15th, 2021 is when all CNP web applications are due. All the due dates have been laid out in the Family Daycare Home Renewal Memo and the CACFP Annual Training Memo for your reference. Now that you know some upcoming important dates, here's what to expect for fiscal year 2022. This year, we will have a shift back to normal. In June 2021, the Office of Child Care notified ODE that emergency child care licensing was no longer needed for child care centers, and ODE released guidelines with the expectation that all schools in Oregon will be open for in-person learning this fall. There are some USDA waivers that have been extended for family daycare home sponsors and providers, however. These can be used on an as-needed basis if your operations are not quite back to normal. We will discuss this in the next few slides. At this time, we anticipate that the waivers that have been released will be the only waivers that will be available this year. No additional USDA waivers are likely at this time. Current waivers available to CACFP family daycare home providers include a meal pattern flexibility waiver, or waiver number 91. This new waiver took effect on July 1st, 2021 and is more restrictive than previous meal pattern waivers. Sponsors can only request a waiver on the following meal pattern requirements: the requirement to serve one whole grain rich item each day, allowing low-fat flavored milk to be served for children 6 years old and older or adults, and the use of crediting grains using the ounce equivalent serving sizes by October 1st, 2021. Sponsors who want to use any of these three available meal pattern flexibilities must request approval from ODE CNP prior to implementation. Requests must be targeted and demonstrate justified need. Family daycare home sponsors must notify their assigned child nutrition specialist if they opt to use any of these waivers. Sponsors have received meal pattern waiver request worksheets to document any providers requesting meal pattern waivers. This documentation must be maintained by the sponsor. COVID Memo 93 is titled Area Eligibility in the After Schools Programs and for Family Daycare Home Providers in School Year 2021 through 2022. This waiver allows providers to claim meals and snacks served to enrolled participants at the Tier 1 rate regardless of location of the home. Please note that this is an area eligibility waiver and does not apply to meals served to providers' own children, which must still be based on income. This waiver will end on June 30th, 2022, and Tier 1 rates for non-area eligible homes will end after this date. COVID Memo 96 allows monitoring to continue off-site via a desk audit, although all other monitoring requirements are still in place. Note that this waiver does not have a specific date at this time, but instead will expire 30 days after the end of the federal public health emergency. As a reminder, all family daycare home sponsors are required to monitor 3 times a year, with no more than 6 operating months between reviews. At least 2 of the visits must be unannounced, and 1 must include a meal observation. Monitoring reviews with meal observations must be proportional to the meal types claimed, and the unannounced reviews must be varied in timing so that they are unpredictable to the monitored providers. All of these requirements still apply and have not been waived by on-site monitoring waivers. Your monitoring form must be approved by ODE CNP to ensure that it meets all monitoring compliance requirements. If your monitoring form has been updated in the last year, send it to your assigned child nutrition specialist for review. Now that we have completed the review of all relevant memos, we are going to review a change to CACFP that will affect all sponsors. Back in 2017, USDA updated the CACFP meal pattern and stated that the grains component would move to ounce equivalent serving sizes at a later date. October 1st, 2021 is the implementation date when ODE and USDA will expect all sponsors and providers to switch to the use of ounce equivalent serving sizes. The switch will mean that grains that were served as a serving size formerly will change to an ounce equivalent serving size. What had previously been 1 serving size will equal 1 ounce equivalent serving size. This change will have very minimal operational changes. Ounce equivalent serving sizes are only minimally larger than the original serving sizes, with only a 2 to 10 gram difference for all grain items. For example, for items in Group A such as bread, savory crackers, and pretzels, the ounce equivalent serving size is only 2 grams larger than the previous minimum serving size. Looking at all the age groups, you can see that it's a simple shift to ounce equivalents. Children ages 1 through 2 and 3 through 5 all will receive at least half-ounce equivalents for all meals and snacks. Children ages 6 through 12 and 13 through 18 will receive at least 1 ounce equivalent for all meals and snacks. Infants are not required to be served solid foods from 0 to 5 months. For infants who are developmentally ready for solid foods, the required portion sizes for grains is half-ounce equivalents. Providers will not need to change all meal service operations when switching over to ounce equivalents. What you will need to do is, first, review the grain items that are listed on the provider's menu and check to see that it meets serving size requirements using ounce equivalents. Because ounce equivalent serving sizes are very similar to the CACFP serving sizes, most grain items should meet the minimum serving sizes for ounce equivalents already. Then, if there are processed combination foods, make sure that product formulation statements have ounce equivalent serving sizes for items crediting for the grains component, and reach out to manufacturers for updated product formulation statements if not, or let providers know that they should reach out to the manufacturers. ODE is not requiring additional documentation of ounce equivalent serving sizes on the menu, and no additional supporting documentation will be needed beyond what is already required for breakfast cereals, whole grain rich items, and combination foods. For more information on ounce equivalents for the grains component, review the CACFP Meal Pattern Success webinar on serving ounce equivalents for grains. This was presented on August 26, 2020. This video is required viewing for the CACFP annual training as well, and is available on the CACFP Annual Training 2021 YouTube playlist. If you still have questions after reviewing the ODE CNP ounce equivalent webinar, there are multiple resources available from USDA. The Using Ounce Equivalents for Grains in the CACFP worksheet is reviewed extensively in the ODE CNP webinar, but the handout can be viewed by itself and has a grains measuring chart that has a list of common grain items with appropriate serving sizes for different age groups. We recommend all sponsors to download this handout and share it with all providers, since it is the most useful and easy to use tool for ounce equivalents. If you are wondering how to credit grain portions for infants, the Feeding Infants Using Ounce Equivalent for Grains worksheet has a grains measuring chart with common grain items and appropriate serving sizes for serving infants 6 through 11 months. We recommend sharing this with providers with infants in care. Next, if providers are serving a lot of single-serving packaged grain items only, we recommend the crediting single-serving packages of grains in the CACFP worksheet, which provides a grains measuring chart for common single-serving packages. Finally, if you just want to figure out how ounce equivalence is calculated, use the Calculating Ounce Equivalents of Grains in the CACFP worksheet, which also has step-by-step instructions. This is recommended if you are reviewing products that are not listed in any of the grains measuring charts, or if you just want to have a deeper understanding of ounce equivalents. For most sponsors and providers, just one or two resources will provide them with all of the information that is needed to successfully implement ounce equivalents in grains. But if you are looking for additional resources, including PowerPoints for training your staff or viewing instructional webinars, USDA's Team Nutrition webpage on CACFP Grains Ounce Equivalent Resources has plenty of resources for sponsors and providers to look over. It also includes links to all the ounce equivalent worksheets that were reviewed in this training. If you are still unsure about ounce equivalents, you can continue to allow providers to use the current grain serving sizes by requesting a meal pattern flexibility waiver. If a sponsor chooses to use this waiver, they must request the waiver by contacting their assigned child nutrition specialist. Next, let's move into some updates from ODE CNP. We will review new information about meal accommodations, fiscal management procedures, desk reviews, and reminders for fiscal year 2022. Based on information and recommendations made by USDA's Civil Rights Office and requests from providers for a more inclusive form to document meal accommodations for their participants, ODE CNP has made some significant changes to our webpage and forms. First, our Special Diets page has been updated and is now titled the Meal Accommodations and Modifications page. This page has information and forms that may be used by all child nutrition programs. The forms themselves have also been updated to include a sponsor or provider-only section for better documentation and tracking, as well as instructions for completing the form. In addition, what used to be known as the milk substitute form has been updated to include space for other requested meal accommodations for components other than fluid milk. The form is now called the Meal Preference Request Form. New handouts have also been added to the webpage, which provide a quick guide for sponsors or providers, a decision tree for making accommodations, and an explanatory handout for participant families defining meal accommodations and providing information on how to request one. Here is the updated medical statement form for medical accommodations. This is a two-page form with instructions for filling out the form on the second or back page. The first page includes 3 parts that will all need to be filled out completely. This form must be provided to families of participants when they request a medical meal accommodation. Part 2 of the form must be filled out by a state-licensed healthcare professional. older versions of the medical statement are still valid and can continue to be used. New medical meal accommodation requests must use this updated form. The meal preference request form looks similar but is meant for participants with non-medical meal accommodation requests. Like the medical statement, the instructions for completion are on the back or second page. The first page has 3 parts. This form should be given to parents or guardians to fill out if providers allow for non-medical meal accommodations. This form replaces the previous milk substitute form. Providers who have valid milk substitute forms on file may continue to use the completed forms to document milk substitutions made. However, new requests for milk substitutions should use this updated meal preference request form. A comprehensive training on all of these changes has been created and is available on the CACFP Annual Training 2021 YouTube playlist. This training is also required for CACFP Annual Training. The link to this video is also available on the CACFP Annual Training 2021 memo that you received. On February 8, 2021, ODE CNP notified sponsors that per Federal Regulation 7 CFR 226.6 B27C 2 and 4, all sponsors are required to have written management controls in place to show the fiscal integrity of program funds and accountability of all expenses. This means that sponsors must have a written fiscal policy that includes CACFP requirements and demonstrates the procedures taken to ensure that program funds are only used for program purposes. While it is a requirement that sponsors have and implement a fiscal policy, sponsors are not required to submit policies to ODE CNP unless specifically requested. Part of this year's CACFP annual training includes ODE CNP's Fiscal Management Procedures for CACFP Sponsors Training. This training is a requirement for both the Food Program Coordinator and the Financial Office Contact and can be found on the same CACFP Annual Training 2021 YouTube playlist. The link to this video is also available on the CACFP Annual Training 2021 memo that you received. As we begin fiscal year 2022, ODE CNP will continue to conduct administrative reviews as desk reviews. This practice will last, per federal waivers, only until the end of the COVID-19 public health emergency. Sponsors receiving an announced review will be notified as to whether they will receive a desk review or if the review has been transitioned back to in-person. For desk reviews, sponsors will be asked to send documentation via electronic files. All meetings will be scheduled and conducted through Microsoft Teams. Sponsors do not need to purchase Microsoft Suites to have access to Teams. Access to meetings will be provided through calendar invites. Depending on national waivers and the public health emergency, unannounced reviews may be conducted as is federally required. These unannounced visits may be in-person visits. As you begin your fiscal year 2022 operations, please remember that there are many CACFP federal requirements that are still in place despite current waivers or flexibilities in other areas. These requirements include, but are not limited to, meal counts, attendance records, and child enrollment forms are still required. Confidential income statements are still required for providers owned only. All sponsors must maintain provider menus and supporting documentation. Sponsors must conduct monitoring reviews, and all financial documentation must be collected and maintained. Keep in mind that these are not new program requirements. These are regular program regulations which have not been waived. If you have specific questions about your program operations, please contact your child nutrition specialist. In addition to documentation, provider transfer policies have reverted back to the same policy of only allowing providers to transfer once per year. Sponsors can only transfer up to 5 providers each month. Remember that serious deficiency letters have specific requirements and sponsors must use the templates provided by ODE CNP. These templates can be found on the shared Google Drive folder titled Serious Deficiency and Suspension Letters for Family Daycare Home Providers. If you do not have a link to this folder, email your assigned child nutrition specialist. Completion of CACFP annual training is a requirement of CACFP renewal for all programs. This year, both the Food Program Coordinator as designated in CNP Web and the Financial Office Contact are required to complete training. The Food Program Coordinator is required to complete all required CACFP annual training videos and submit the annual training quiz by September 29, 2021. The Financial Office Contact must only complete the Fiscal Management training video and complete the annual training quiz by September 29, 2021. If the Food Program Coordinator is also listed as the Financial Office Contact in CNP Web, they will need to review all required CACFP annual training videos but only need to complete the quiz once. They will want to make sure to check the row of Food Program Coordinator and take that specific quiz when completing it. The 2021 CACFP Annual Training Quiz is ODE CNP's method for ensuring that all required individuals complete the annual training. The due date for the completion of trainings and the submission of the training quiz is September 29, 2021. The quiz itself may be taken multiple times if needed. Sponsors who score lower than 70% may be contacted by their child nutrition specialist to follow up on any questions or information needed. Please note that a sponsor will not be approved for CACFP fiscal year 2022 renewals until the annual training and quiz have been completed by the required staff. Any questions? Contact your assigned child nutrition specialist. Before we end our session, here is a short message from the Oregon Department of Education. ODE supports equity and excellence for every learner and seeks to work with school districts, education service districts, and community partners like you. We believe all children should have access to a high-quality, well-rounded learning experience. Our stance is that education equity is the equitable implementation of policy, practices, procedures, and legislation that translates into resource allocation, education rigor, and opportunities for historically and currently marginalized youth, students, and families, including civil rights protected classes. This means the restructuring and dismantling of systems and institutions that create the dichotomy of beneficiaries and the oppressed and marginalized. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.